Welcome to all for shooters. We're here at the Krieghoff booth, and I want to present you one of Krieghoff's most successful clay guns. This is the K-80. It's their flagship, and one of the most successful models in that series was the Parcours. This is a renovation of the Parcours line, and I would like to pass the testimony to Alex Deal from Krieghoff, which will explain to us the new features of this fine gun.
Thank you. Yes, as many of you may have heard that we've had amazing success with the Parcours version of the K-80 over the last decade. We have continued to develop that line, listening to our shooters, to our customers, and trying to keep our pulse, so to speak, our finger on the pulse of the market, and go with the shooting techniques that also continue to develop all the time. One of the big steps that we took is increased barrel length. So what you will see here is we now have 34-inch or 86-centimeter barrels. So very, very long barrels that will help especially sporting clay shooters because of the more technical and constantly developing or evolving target presentations in the sporting clay world. So with the longer sighting plane, it gives you a better opportunity to pick up flight paths of further or more technical targets and give you an edge on other guns, and in a competition you have a better average and higher scores at the end of the day. So this is a very important development for the Parcours line. Now the next step, which is even more important, let's talk about weight and weight distribution of the gun. The Parcours has been our lightest model in the K-80 line. It takes less effort to move. It also is just livelier overall. The downside of that a little bit is you have to be very concentrated, and it's a little harder to control the gun. It's like a beautiful woman. It's a little harder to control. So at the end of the day, there was a sentiment in the market. Our shooters brought us feedback that's saying it would be nice to have something that's in between our sporting model and the Parcours model. And here we are, we're answering that call with the Parcours X. The Parcours X, weight-wise, is right in between the sporting model and the Parcours model. We have a little bit of a wider rib than the Parcours. It's available in 32-inch, 81 centimeters. It does not have a center line in the rib, which is also something that our shooters wanted to see. And it bridges the gap weight-wise and gives just a little bit more front heaviness in the gun, a little bit easier resting in the lead hand, a little bit easier to control. It doesn't run away from you that much if you make a little mistake. So this seems to be, right now, for the target presentations that we see, especially in sporting clays, seems to be the perfect setup for controlling a sporting clay course, a modern sporting clay course. And we had a raving success since we introduced this gun, and it's selling very, very well, especially in the United States, where the clay target market is the biggest in the world. It looks very, very much like the Parcours. The barrel contour, everything is the same. You see it also has soldered barrels, but the main difference is a lot heavier rib.
What is the kind of weight increase that we are seeing towards the lightest of the Parcours models?
So the lightest Parcours models, we have barrels that are going to be around 1,400 grams. And we have the sporting barrels are going to be in the neighborhood of about 1,700, between 1,650 and 1,700, and the Parcours X barrel is right in the middle of those. So around 1,550, that's where the Parcours X barrels usually come in.
It takes the harshness of the kick away, while giving you still a very fast barrel movement and a good control of the gun.
Correct. It's still very lively. It doesn't take too much effort to move, and the kick is obviously something that's also an issue. Although I will say it's more about control. It's more about the perfect weight distribution in the gun. You see, recoil perception has a lot to do with stock fit as well, and we've put a lot of work into our newer stock models to again answering the call of our shooters and listening to our customers. So recoil perception we control more through gun fit. But again, the control versus liveliness of the gun, I think this is really the perfect mix of all of it.
Thank you so much.
We have one more feature I'd like to mention, and that is choke tubes. The Parcours X is obviously mainly a clay target gun. So interchangeable choke tubes is something that's very important. The Parcours model started as a fixed choke model, originally designed for more driven bird hunts and things like that. The barrel walls are so thin with the Parcours that we had to develop thin wall choke tubes. And as of now, we only had flush mounted ones available, which I'm going to show you. So far we had flush mounted thin wall choke tubes that are flush mounted with the muzzle of the barrel.
Yes.
We now have also very new what we call the so-called Krieghoff Pro chokes. These are extended chokes. So you see the difference in lengths.
Yes.
So these will stick out of the barrel, which gives you a little bit more guidance for the shot pattern. It also is easier to see which choke you have in the gun because it's written on the outside.
Of course.
And they're easier to interchange. So overall, again, a very big development and answering the call of our shooters that demanded extended choke tubes for the Parcours line.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's been a pleasure. Please continue following us on allforshooters.com.
Thank you.